Hey guys, I wanted to make a short video for you highlighting the differences between two very similar stamina tips, namely W2D and EWD. You often see a lot of discussion and back and forth about which one is better or how this one may be better than that one, and I kind of wanted to show you my perspective on the matter, which is mostly that I think EWD has the higher potential overall in terms of raw stamina. You can get a very good EWD and there's very little a W2D user can do about it in same spin, while here you have the potential to sometimes counterattack against aggressive opponents and make a comeback for yourself. Both of these two tips are excellent against opposite spin opponents, and you're gonna get great results using either of them. But there's just a small difference between the two in a few areas that I'm going to highlight here, and you can make the decision as to which you think is better for you and your playstyle or your wallet. Firstly, I'm going to do a match against Flame 230 to see that both are completely exceptional at what they do against something like this. EWD. As you can see, EWD did just fine, cinching out a win right at the very end. Now we're going to be doing W2D against the same opponent. That sucks. See? Great. Here is where things start getting different. I'm gonna do a head-to-head matchup, and you'll see the black MLD is the EWD and the silver MLD is the W2D. I'll launch EWD first. So I'm going to switch it around and see if it makes a difference. I'm going to launch EWD first again. EWD wins. Now, I don't actually believe that this is consistently the case. I don't think EWD, even this one, which isn't my greatest one, is always going to beat W2D. But it looks pretty convincing, and you wouldn't really want to risk it. Here's another place where I think things get a little bit different. Here we're going to have EWD against an attack type, an opposite spin attack type, and see how it does. Holy shit, it's cracked. That was a close one. Now we're going to be using a W2D, worn one in particular, to see how this opposite spin attack matchup goes. See, there is something EWD will never do. It will never counterattack like that. It'll just stay in the middle. It'll chill out. This makes W2D sometimes a lot harder to hit, or it can secure counterattacks on the opponent. It isn't always guaranteed, but it's something it has up its sleeve that EWD can never have. I'm gonna try EWD again just to double check. Okay, so to conclude, between W2D and EWD, you won't really notice much of a difference in opposite spin stamina matchups. They perform about the same. You won't really be let down by one or the other, despite the one draw that I got here. But when it comes to same spin, you may be a little bit let down by a W2D, especially if it's worn. And you might find that EWD is a little bit more reliable there. When it comes to opposite spin attack matchups, though, you're kind of a sitting duck as EWD. So unless you can take the punishment, which is totally possible as you've seen here, you're going to get knocked out. Whereas if you pick W2D, especially a worn W2D, you're a bit more mobile, especially if you manage to sustain one hit and live. You'll find that it'll ride the ridge almost immediately and counterattack or just evade an upcoming attack. So you really have to consider what your playstyle is suited towards, more docile or something that's a bit more of a wild card for your opponent to deal with. In general, I always prefer reliability, but if that's not your thing or you like to goof around, play around with something that's still very good, you'd probably want to go for something like this instead.